With the Xbox announcing early last week that they are raising prices in the middle of a console generation by over $100 on some of their models and consoles, it had me thinking, why exactly? While tariffs are probably the number one reason, manufacturing things like console computers and things can be complicated. All the different materials in them can cause them to be more expensive as they get traded around for each part of the process. But $100 more, and again in the middle of the console generation, when this stuff is no longer cutting edge, and it isn't like Microsoft right now is in the greatest position to raise prices. Unlike Nintendo, which is number one with the bullet with their Switch, Xbox One numbers are struggling to meet GameCube numbers. You'd think Microsoft would be wanting to keep the prices steady and even absorb some of the costs that's going on with these trade wars instead of raising them. And they're not raising prices on the hardware, no, they're also increasing prices on the software. And it's my personal opinion that I think this has to do with Game Pass. Let's discuss this. Now, a year ago I put out a video saying Sony has lost a lot of its value proposition on their PS5. A value proposition is kind of what value does this product have that is greater than the money in your pocket. For Nintendo, that's easy. Hybrid gaming and Mario. Sony has given up most of its first-party games to PC, and again, the PS5 is basically just a closed-in version of a PC and not a real gaming console in my opinion. I didn't give Microsoft hell because, well, they haven't been concerned with the value proposition of the Xbox. Rather, they're trying to build another platform. One I think is dangerous, but I'll get to that in another video. Let's talk about their history and why the increase in prices is to get you into Game Pass. Okay, when Microsoft got into the console business 25 years ago, it made sense to do it. 25 years ago, the difference between PC and gaming consoles were kinda huge. You had to know a lot more in order to use a PC. They were a lot harder to build. Hell, we're used to just plugging anything and everything into a USB port and the computers do it themselves. And while USB ports did exist 25 years ago, they weren't standard. You look back at a PC around 2001, you might find 2 or 3 USB hubs, and then you'd see things like the PS2 ports for the mouse and keyboard. So it was a perfect idea to bring their game ideas to gamers and tap into that market because PCs were so different. Now things have changed. Using a PC is a lot easier, still a bit more complicated than the console, but not by much. And clients like Steam make installation and uninstallation of games a breeze, and I would say the consoles, for the most part, aren't getting that much easier or quicker to use. This leads Microsoft at a crossroad, where they realize they have to be cannibalizing either their console market or their PC market if they succeed. What to do? The answer for Microsoft is to follow in the same business practice as 99% of their other services. Kind of put that into a subscription scheme, or even go downright SaaS as software as a service for your games. And that is where you don't have software on your PC, it all runs in the cloud, so basically cloud gaming. Microsoft has been working in the last decade to build a Game Pass platform that will be available on all devices, PlayStation, PC, Switch, Xbox, so you can subscribe to your games. So why increase prices on their hardware and games to own? Well, that's just another video I plan to do. But for here, if the price of new games is more than a subscription service, then you will subscribe to that service. If the hardware is too expensive to purchase, you may pay extra for the cloud option and spend more money. They actually earn more money in the long run from this, rather than you pay them once for a $500 console, which they may see a little bit of money, you'll be continually paying them for that cloud service. And since Game Pass hasn't grown much, the tariff situation plus Nintendo price increase for their games makes it a perfect time to put the screws in, so you sign up for the service. Got it? So basically, it's my personal belief, Microsoft is raising prices, hoping to increase the Game Pass subscriptions. Subscription is how Microsoft makes its money everywhere else, and if they have the Game Pass on everything in games, they're no longer going to be cannibalizing themselves, so it doesn't matter if you play it on your Xbox or their PC, you're going to be paying them for the subscription to get access to the game. So why do I think it's a bad for gaming? Well, that's another video, which I hope to put out sometime soon. But if you like this rant, please give me a like and subscribe. Hope to see you guys later.